to look ahead to the match and the season, I'm joined by one of Indian cricket's legend, VVS Lakshman from Dubai for an exclusive chat. Thank you very much for joining me on the broadcast, VVS. We are counting down to the blockbuster opening between Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings. IPL is happening in the middle of a pandemic. The teams have been in the UAE for roughly 3 weeks and you have been there with SRH2. How has life been in the bio bubble so far?
Yeah, it's definitely very different, but we all understand the situation we are all in, and at least we are getting to play the game, So the first 6 days we were in quarantine, we were not allowed to go outside our rooms. But after that, even though we are in the bubble, but still there is a team room, there is a gym, there is a swimming pool, there's a separate restaurant which is exclusive for the franchise, and also we are staying in a resort where there's a lot of open spaces, So overall, while we are in a bubble, still I believe that it's quite comfortable for the players. And luckily for us, we are going and having good practice session at the ICC Academy and at the Sharjah Cricket Ground. So overall, while we understand the situation, while it's a very different environment for us, but at least we are getting to do what we love the most, which is to be involved with the game of cricket.
VVS, would you say the secret to having a better IPL this time around is managing the bio bubble effectively?
Well, I think it won't be any different compared to the other teams, because all the other teams also have got professional support staff, coaching staff, and everyone realizes that along with, enhancing the skill, along with practicing the skill, it's also very important for keeping the mindset and the mind space of the players fresh throughout the tournament. So we are having various team bonding activities in our team room. We are going out together, in the restaurant, even though we're maintaining social distancing. So overall, there are a lot of activities which we have planned and which have already been executed so that the players are mentally fresh. They don't feel that they're locked up in a jail, and it's been good so far. But the challenge will be to maintain that freshness throughout the tournament, and I think that will be the key if you have to do well in this tournament. You want the players to be fresh mentally for each and every match.
It looks far from a jail, really, VVS. We just saw members of your team playing beach volleyball. But this time around, do you have a mental trainer with the team to manage the stress of the players?
No, we don't have a mental trainer, but we have got a qualified doctor who's making sure that all the guidelines and the protocols of this social distancing, wearing a mask, not coming in contact with other people who are not part of the bubble is traveling with us. See, we all are experienced cricketers. We've played a lot of games in our careers. We've handled a lot of different situations. So this is a different challenge.
True.
But I can tell you from the players' point of view, all of them are eagerly waiting for the tournament to start, because it's been quite a tough time for all of them, for all of us, in fact, since March, where there was a lockdown, we were all confined to our homes. But at least now they're going out and playing and practicing regularly and preparing well for the tournament. And all of them are eagerly waiting for showing their skills and performing well for the respective franchise come the 19th of September.
This is practically the return of Indian cricket after 6 months of coronavirus crisis. Now, it must be a huge, huge relief for you guys now that Warner, your skipper, Bairstow and Mitchell Marsh have arrived from the UK and they have only 36 hours of quarantine instead of 6 days. How are you making arrangements for them to move from one bio bubble to another?
We are maintaining all the norms which are carrying the player from one bubble to another bubble. And we just hope that all the necessary precautions are taken care. But as of now, we are hoping that David Warner, Bairstow, Mitchell Marsh will be available for the first match.
That's heartening to know. Now, David Warner, perhaps one of the last joinee, he returns as captain this year. He has David really managed to contribute to the planning of the side while he was in England in the middle of the England-Australia series?
Yeah, David is very much integral part of the planning and the strategies we make, and he's been involved very actively. We had a lot of Zoom calls. And I think he's always been a leader within the group. Even though he was not captain last year, but still on and off the field, he led by example. So he actively keeps in touch with all the players. And what really impresses me about Devi is the way he interacts with the youngsters. So we have a group, the Sunrisers group, and he's very active in that group. And almost every day he sends a message. He just makes sure that everyone is comfortable, and he keeps in touch with all the players in that group.
It's really interesting that you mentioned about Zoom calls. We would never have imagined that Zoom calls will become a part of cricket. Are all your meetings now taking place through Zoom?
Yeah, that's become the new normal. That's become the new normal because the less contact you have with others, the less chances of you getting infected. And Zoom call is very convenient. And all these video calls are very convenient, where you can interact with the entire group at one go. So I think that's become the new normal, and I'm sure that we will use this a lot more over the next 2 months.
Right, let's talk a little more about your team and cricket. With Warner and Bairstow opening, you hardly have a place for Kane Williamson in the team. He was the captain last time when Warner was not available, and he led the franchise fabulously. Now, having him in the team, is that a happy headache?
Yeah, it's always going to be a happy headache. Kane is a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal leader. When David was suspended after the Cape Town incident, he was the captain of the side, and he was fantastic as a leader, but also phenomenal as a batsman, and he's done really well for us in the last couple of seasons. So I think it's a happy headache to have. And that's what I mentioned, that, we have got quality players, and we got players who can perform in different conditions. And I think the conditions will vary in this tournament over the next 2 months, because there are only 3 grounds which will be used. So the grounds and the wickets can change significantly as the tournament progresses. So based on the combination we want to go into a particular match, based on the opposition's strength, we will have the best 11 playing in that match.
Now, VVS, you had the auction in December for this season, and the players were brought with strategies for playing in Indian conditions. Now, the IPL moved to UAE. Did that disturb your team's combination, your strategies?
Nothing changes, Rika. The reason for that is when you pick a squad of 24 or 25, you pick keeping in mind that you're going to play in different conditions. Like even if the tournament happens in India, the conditions are totally different in Hyderabad. And then when you go to Chennai, you can get a spinner-friendly wicket. When you go to Delhi, you can get a low batting surface. It can be different when you go to Eden Gardens, where there is a little bit more pace and bounce at the Eden Gardens wicket. So I think when you pick a squad of 24, you make sure that you can have different combinations based on the conditions you're going to get. So it won't change, but we have to just wait and see what kind of conditions we're going to get. I'm sure that the curators will work really hard to give good surfaces where there's a keen contest between the bat and ball, and also the fans, even though they won't be present at the ground, will be enjoying good high quality cricket watching that on the television sets.
Now, you mentioned about the fans. They are one of the key stakeholders of IPL. There would be no fans this time around. How will it affect players like Kohli, Warner, Rohit Sharma, who feed off the energy of the crowd? Do you expect that there will be a drop in intensity?
I think the names you have taken, Virat Kohli, David Warner, all of them have been excellent and exceptional players. And I believe that while it will be a different scenario for them, because they've always played, since the time they played international cricket, in front of packed stadiums where they feed from the energy from their fans, from the followers, but they also understand that the situation is different, and they also understand that their role is to go out and do their best so that their franchise can win the matches and probably win the tournament. So I don't see the intensity coming down from any of the players. If you see, or if you've followed the recently concluded series between Australia and England, there were no fans at the ground. But even the last one-day match was a nail-biting finish. So as far as the cricket is concerned, I don't see the quality of cricket coming down.
Well, that's heartening to know. The quality of cricket will not come down. But given the way the pitches have behaved in the UAE in the past, do you reckon that this will be a low-scoring tournament and this will be a bowler's IPL, some semblance of balance between the bat and the ball?
Yeah, I think Abu Dhabi is a very big ground. So is Dubai.
Right.
Sharjah is a smaller ground compared to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. The wickets can get slow as the tournament progresses, but I'm sure that the curators have prepared a big square, where they can rotate and use different wickets and not make sure that the wickets doesn't get really tired. But I believe that the spinners and the slow bowlers will have a significant impact in this tournament. And that actually sometimes I feel that if it's a low scoring match, it can be a thriller compared to a high scoring match where it's batting talent of one franchise versus the batting talent of other franchise. So as long as there's a keen contest, as long as there is a very good thrilling matches which will be exciting, I'm sure that the fans will be happy.
Now, you have mentioned about the spinners, and they have always played a very, very important role in the past IPLs. What kind of spinners you expect to shine in this edition? Is it going to be the wrist spinners IPL, or the finger spinners are going to, they are going to be the ones who will call the shots?
I think all the spinners, because if you see the top wicket takers in the IPL history, there have been a lot of spinners in the top 10 wicket takers, not only in IPL but also in T20 history. So I think when T20 format started, everyone were thinking that slowly it will be tough for the spinners to showcase their talent. But I believe that the spinners have been the chief wicket takers, and even while the wrist spinners are the ones who will probably have an advantage compared to the finger spinners. But we've seen that players and bowlers like Ashwin, Sunil Narine, all of them have really excelled whenever they've been given an opportunity. So I think finger spinners are here to stay, and I'm sure that they will use their experience to pick up wickets.
Right. Lakshman, one of the big changes to your team this time around is bringing in Trevor Bayliss, the World Cup winning coach in 2019. He's also won 2 IPL titles with KKR, Big Bash titles as well. Did you decide to have him as the coach, being the team mentor?
Yeah, he had a lot of success coaching KKR. Also, he had a phenomenal stint with England, for the first time England winning the 50-over World Cup last year. I think it was a decision of the owners, but I think from personal point of view, it will be a real pleasure working with Trevor. Even in the last couple of weeks, I've spent time with him in the preparatory camp. It's been very meaningful interaction which I had with him. He's someone who's got a lot of knowledge about the game, but at the same time, he's a very good manager. And especially the current IPL, it's important to manage the players really well, so that they are in the best space where they go out and express themselves and play to the best of their capabilities. So I'm really looking forward to working with Trevor Bayliss, and I'm sure that he will come up with fresh ideas for the progress of this franchise.
It'll be interesting to see if he goes for a 3rd IPL title with SRH. Now, talking about managers, we have to talk about MS Dhoni, the talismanic Indian captain who retired his blue on Independence Day. Would it be a lot of pressure on him this time around, since he's a retired cricketer now?
Well, I think someone of the stature of MS Dhoni has been a tremendous role model. He's been an inspirational figure, and not only does he inspire the Indian cricketers, but all the cricketers world over. And he's announced his retirement from international cricket. So for each and every match he plays for CSK, I think the fans of not only CSK, but fans of MS Dhoni and cricket in general will relish the opportunity of seeing him walking out on the park and do what he does the best. So I don't think so that there will be extra burden of MS. There's never a burden on MS because for him, in his dictionary, there's the word pressure doesn't arise at all. So I believe that MS will really enjoy himself, which he has always done when he is on the cricket ground.
No wonder he is called the Captain Cool of Indian cricket. Now, Chennai, his team has gone through its fair share of ups and downs before the tournament. There was a COVID breakout and then pullouts by Harbhajan Singh and Suresh Raina. Do you think that there could be more pullouts in this edition of the tournament as the season rolls on? It's going to be over 60 days plus the days of quarantine before the tournament.
I think that can be a possibility, and that's where the role of the coaching staff and the support staff comes into play. We have to just make sure that we give the players the space where within the bubble, where they're fresh for each and every challenges they're going to confront. But if the players, based on their personal experiences, if they take a call, I think we have to also respect that. The players also understand that this is going to be a new normal for some time now, because the world is battling against the pandemic COVID. So I think it will take a lot more time for us to get back to the normal, where you have spectators watching us play the game, where you're not part of the bubble, because the bubble is created for the safety of each and every stakeholder of the game. And I think a lot of credit should be given to BCCI for the way they have made sure that every small step is taken care, where the safety of the players and the squad members is given paramount importance. So I think the players understand that, and they love the game. And they want to just go out and play the game. And if they have to make little bit of sacrifices here and there, I think they're prepared to do that.
Indeed, BCCI has done a great job to put together this tournament with Restrata. But before we let you go, I'll have to ask you, how have the business side of things been during this IPL?
Well, I'm not sure about more demand for IPL as far as the business is concerned. But all I can say is all my friends or all my fans are eagerly waiting for the IPL to start. IPL is one of the most premier and sought after tournament in world sports. And everyone are eagerly waiting for this tournament to start. And we know once IPL starts, every evening, all the fans of the game will be glued to their television sets to watch high quality cricket. And as far as sponsor is concerned, you can see I'm wearing a Sunrisers t-shirt and I don't see anything, which is empty here. So that means sponsors are eagerly waiting for IPL to start, and still IPL is one of the most sought after product for the sponsors.
Absolutely. Everyone's waiting for the IPL to begin. Thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Wish you very best for the season.